Germany and Poland. These two European countries have within them very different realities. Despite this, they exist side by side, having done so throughout history and sharing much of their common heritage. Today, they are allies, together in NATO and the European Union, but this was not always the case. And despite their recent approximation, many differences remain between the two countries. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how Germany and Poland compare. I thought a good place to start would be their flags. They are quite different, although some similarities do exist. They both consist of horizontal stripes, although Germany has 3 and Poland has 2. They both use the color red, although Poland uses it exclusively along white, while Germany does so with black and gold. However, Germany's imperial flag also contained white. And above all, their national coat of arms are a little similar. For Germany, a black eagle with a red beak on a gold field. For Poland, a white eagle crowned with a gold beak on a red field. Germany's eagle dates back to the symbol of the Holy Roman Empire, while Poland's dates back to its first king, Boleslaw I in the 10th century, whose currency and symbols already depicted an eagle. And this historical look is important in another aspect, territory. Poland and Germany have coexisted since very early on, not in the same way, of course. Poland ceased to exist for various times, and Germany wasn't even united back then, but still the territories that would eventually become Germany and Poland often exchanged hands between German and Polish rulers. The Teutonic Order, the predecessors of Prussia, who would eventually lead the establishment of the modern German state, existed in partially what is today Poland, and in fact, their existence in the early days is very much marked by conflict against the Polish. On the other end of the timeline, the most recent examples would be World War I and World War II. The now Polish city of Gdansk, known to the Germans as Danzig, was precisely a subject of great dispute during this time, having been taken away from the Germans after World War I. This was followed by the German occupation of Poland in World War II, and the territories that were once German becoming Polish after the end of the war. This map on Poland's border changes throughout history shows us how by 1000 AD, the Polish kingdom even surpassed the modern borders, how the German Empire then pushed back, and how Poland then took that land back again. What is today Western Poland was for a long time Eastern Imperial Germany, speaking to the great connection between these two peoples throughout history, and these lines are still relevant today, namely in electoral results. The results of Poland's presidential election of 2015 almost perfectly match the old imperial border, with one candidate winning in the old German lands while the other won in the rest. I made a whole video about this that you can watch if you want. Speaking of territory, how do their sizes compare today? Germany is the 63rd largest country in the world at 357,000 square kilometers. Poland is the 69th at 322,000, a little less but not that significantly different. Another important aspect of their territory, which connects to the previous point of the border changes, is the current border they share. Established along the Oder Neisse rivers, all of the border between the two countries consists of these two rivers, with the exception of this tiny bit here. I'm convinced they did this just to annoy us. It would be so much more satisfying to have the river for the entire thing. The northern part of the border is the Oder, while the southern part consists of the Neisse, a tributary of the Oder River, which then turns east, flowing into Poland. Within this territory, infrastructure is also an important difference. Railways, for instance, Germany has a vaster network. Although Poland is not too far behind, Germany's Autobahn network is far vaster and more advanced, but Poland has quickly been catching up. After all, they also started behind due to constantly being invaded, occupied, and destroyed by Germans and Russians. Another interesting difference is that Germany has no speed limit in some highways, while Poland has a limit of 140 kilometers an hour. This chart compares the two, although I don't know how up to date it is. Germany's railway network is 10 kilometers per square kilometer, ahead of Poland's 6 kilometers. But as we can see, Poland is still doing well, ahead of Italy, Portugal, or Denmark. Their infrastructure quality index, though, is lower than these countries, and Germany's 3.6 compared to 5.5. What about their population? Germany has about 83 million people, while Poland only has about 38. So how? They're pretty much the same size. How does Poland have less than half the population? Well, it has to do with population density. This map, which also includes other countries in Central Europe, shows us the difference in population density. As we can see, Germany is much darker, having more population density, especially in the west, a more industrialized and richer region. It also has significantly more urban centers. Poland's population, despite despite being less concentrated, seems more equally distributed along the territory. There's slightly more people in the south and west, as well as urban centers, of course, but not such a big east-west difference as we see in Germany. Their population pyramid is similar, with aging populations. Life expectancy in Poland is 78 years, with a huge difference from women to men, 82 to 75 respectively. In Germany, it's 81, with women having 83 and men having 78. Up to 2.3 million Polish people live in Germany, some including German repatriates. Germany has a significant immigrant community. Almost 23% have at least one parent born abroad, but many are already born in Germany. Poland does not have such a relevant immigrant community. Only 2.3% have an immigrant background, 0.5 of which are mostly German, and 0.4 from Ukraine and Belarus, although this number may have increased with the recent large wave of Ukrainian refugees. Religion is also a topic on which they are vastly different. Poland is 92% Catholic, 1% Orthodox, and only 3% non-religious. Although the 92% is a little questionable, people may call themselves Catholic out of tradition, but then effectively don't practice Catholicism. A similar situation happens in Portugal, where 80% is Catholic, but most do not practice. Germany is quite religiously diverse. Not only does it have a significant Catholic-Protestant divide due to the Protestant Reformation, with each taking up about 25% of the population, half overall, but it also has a very significant non-religious population, 42%, with only 2% Orthodox and 3% Muslim. It's pretty fascinating to look at a map for these divisions in Germany. The north is mostly Protestant, the south mostly Catholic, and the east, where the former Soviet protectorate existed, is almost entirely non-religious in its majority. Again, I did a full video about remaining east-west differences in Germany. Politically, they are also quite different. To start, Poland is a unitary state, while Germany is a federal one with much larger regional autonomy. They both have a president and a prime minister, along with a bicameral parliament. However, Poland's president seems to de facto share some executive power with the government, something that doesn't happen in Germany. Poland is seen as a semi-presidential regime and seems to have a much higher concentration of power in the central government, something that is avoided in Germany, in part due to the distribution of power at a federal level. Despite their historical grievances, both of these governments have a good relationship today. Again, they're both allies in NATO and a part of the EU together, having open borders and sharing a common market. Poland's only difference is that it doesn't use the euro, using instead its own currency, the Zloty. The exchange rate by May of 2023 is that 1 Zloty equals 22 cents. Military-wise, the German armed forces have about 183,000 active soldiers, with only around 50,000 in reserve. They spend around 1.4% of their GDP in the military and seek to expand it further given recent events. The military age is 17, technically mandatory but suspended indefinitely since 2011. Poland's military has 164,000 active soldiers, with an unspecified number in reserve. Some numbers point to 200,000. Their conscription age is 18, although non-mandatory, and they spend a much higher percentage of their GDP on it, 2.2%. Speaking of GDP, how do the two economies compare? In 2023, Germany's predicted GDP will be of 4.3 trillion US dollars, while for Poland, this value will be of 754 billion US dollars. Germany is the world's fourth largest economy, Poland the 22nd. Poland's biggest partner is Germany, both in exports 28% and imports 20%. Germany, however, does not have Poland in its top 5 partners, only in 8th place. In power purchasing parity values, Germany's GDP per capita is 51,000, while Poland's is 44,000, a closer value due to Poland's cheaper prices as well as a smaller population. The real indicator of income distribution, though, is the Gini Coefficient. Germany has a rating of 29.7, while Poland has one of 28.5. The ideal value is 0 for perfect income equality, so they're pretty balanced on this. The average monthly net salary in Germany is 2,600 euros, while in Poland only 1,041. This is reflected, for instance, in the capability of young people moving out from their families' homes, although I know some part of it is also cultural customs, but still in Poland, 43% of people aged 25 to 34 live with their parents, a value that is only 17% in Germany. Germany saw an inflation of 10% in 2022 and has a 4.4 unemployment rate, with 17% of population at risk of poverty. Poland had around 15% inflation in 2022 and has only 2.7% unemployment, with 18% at risk of poverty. When it comes to the Human Development Index, they are very similar. Although Germany is slightly ahead, its national average is 0.942, and none of its 16 states have a score under 0.9. Poland's national average is 0.876, and only one of its 12 voivodeships score above 0.9, the rest being above 0.8. Security-wise, there are conflicting reports. The general idea is that Poland is safer. The Global Peace Index places them on the same level, with Germany slightly ahead, but we all know that isn't exactly accurate. Germany statistically has more crime, but it also has more than twice the population, so it's difficult to compare the two. Regarding language, they are also quite different. Both German and Polish are Indo-European languages, but German belongs to the subgroup of Germanic languages, while Polish is a Slavic language. As far as I know, there are no relevant similarities, only some words with common origins. For instance, the word for mayor in Polish, burmistrz, comes from the German word Burgmeister. The opposite also happens. For instance, Grenz in German, meaning border, comes from the Polish granica. As some German people remain in Poland, around 150,000, the language is still spoken there, as well by the Polish immigrants in Germany. So, that is a brief overview of how Poland and Germany compare. Understanding the two modern neighboring countries have their connection dating back to very early in history, mostly coexisting in a non-peaceful way and having very difficult relations throughout time, culminating in the various partitions of Poland in which Germany took part, and the annexation of German territories by Poland at the end of World War I and II. Today, they are good friends and important partners, and while they are similar in many ways, they also differ. Their size is similar, but their population is not. Their economies are vastly different, while their military is not that different. Their government types are distinct, as is their currency, but even in what separates them, such as language, we can find some connections due to the historical and regional proximity between them. Did you notice any mistakes, and are there any other significant differences or similarities between Germany and Poland? Let me know in the comments, along with your suggestions of which two countries I should compare next. Thanks for watching this video, subscribe if you want, and I will see you next time for more general knowledge.